How's everyone doing? Okay, we are back. We are back for episode 2 of DuggBott. I am your co-host, Will Duggan. And we have also another co-host.
Hi, I'm Jen Bott, here to talk about episode 4 of WandaVision.
Yeah, we're going to continue with WandaVision today, guys.
Here is your spoiler warning. If you have not watched episode 3 of Marvel's WandaVision, go watch that and then come back and listen to the podcast. Or if you want to listen without watching, go for it.
We have so much to talk about, honestly. I honestly was watching this and I was like, this is definitely a change of pace for this show. Like, I was watching it and I was just like, wow, okay, so we were going from the 50s to the 60s, now the 70s, and now we're just sort of watching a full-on Marvel movie, but the Marvel movie is only like 23 minutes long.
Yeah,
right?
like about
minutes?
that. It was so short. All of a sudden, you blink and it's over.
Oh yeah, but Jen, do you sort of agree like that? I mean, and you could disagree too. Of course, this is why we have the podcast. But do you think that did this really feel like a Marvel movie? This episode. I mean, like I know these last few episodes have felt a little different. Do you think this episode felt like okay, this is clearly like the Marvel formula?
Of course, like totally. I mean, the whole the show starts with Monica in the hospital and everyone is freaking out because they're all coming back. Like, what a moment that was, at the start. I know now I'm just jumping into the episode, but yes.
Honestly, that beginning scene though, I was so surprised. Like getting into it, just watching the first episode. I mean, for watching this fourth episode, I realized, okay, wow, we're really getting into it. It's funny how they sort of show everyone getting blipped back. During Infinity
100%.
War, we see this huge devastation of everyone getting, blipped or snapped. I say snapped. Now it's called blipped. I don't know. I mean, to each their own, but I think it's snapped, honestly. But, we see people getting snapped back into life, and we sort of get our introduction to Monica Rambeau, who's, I think, the sort of other main character of the show. I feel like you have Wanda and you have Vision, but I feel like Monica is this other titular character of the show. And it's crazy, like just, she's running, all of a sudden she wakes up, she doesn't see her mom there. She's like, where is my mom? She sees all these people just being stabbed back. She has no idea what's going on. All these people are just like getting like dusted back, like they were dusted before, but now they're coming back, and she's bumping into people, and it's just like, where the hell is my mom? And you could just see, like, I would just like hate to work at that hospital too. Like, just I think about like working at a hospital in the Marvel universe, like is insane. Like, because you're just like you're coming back all of a sudden. Okay, you see all these people getting snapped. So either you're getting snapped or you're seeing people getting snapped right before your eyes. Then 5 years go by. You don't really maybe get a lot of patients because half the population is dead. I mean, not dead, but disappeared. And then all of a sudden you see all these people getting snapped back into life. And you're like, what the hell? Like, what am I going to do? There's this new patient here, but there's this other person. Wait, I'm sorry, but your mom, your dad died, your kid died. I don't know what to tell you, but...
Yeah, what they did in this episode at the very start was they made the Avengers movie real. Like, the Avengers movies are all kind of a little bit out there. Like, it's like the superheroes and the villains and all that. It brought like the human side of what all these regular people are going through, like into what a hospital was like when everyone got back, like that's so nuts to me.
I know. It's just, I love seeing the human side of these more of the civilian side of these movies. And that's what I think was really shown in this episode. You're not really seeing, you're not seeing the main superheroes of the show. You're seeing sort of the normal people. What I found interesting, I think, from the production accounting side was when and this is the last time I'll probably mention the hospital scene, and I did think it was an amazing scene, but just just sort of looking at it through the production accounting side, I just saw so many extras. Just when you see all the people going through
Yeah.
that hospital, and just like all the vouchers that either payroll clerk or accounting clerk had to go through must have been insane. Like, because you see all those people and you're just like, oh god, all I see is okay, another voucher, non-union voucher, union voucher, special ability voucher. Okay, that guy being knocked into. Okay, that might have been a special ability. I'm not sure. Again, if we do have any people who are in production accounting in the audience, I'm please forgive me if I'm getting that wrong. But to me, sometimes when I just see a lot of extras, extras, I just think, oh my god, like they had to go through so many vouchers, or I feel so bad for that accounting team. Like the amount of people that had to get paid that day must have been insane. But yeah, I tried to like block that moment out of my mind, just I tried to enjoy the story, but it kept on coming up. But
Yeah,
anyways,
working in TV will ruin watching TV. That's a fact, in a way.
Yes, in a way, I agree. I feel like for both of us, sometimes when we're watching things, we tend to look at it through the production side. But
Yeah.
sometimes, with us, I think we found ways to sort of turn that side of our brain off and just enjoy the story of it all.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
but yeah,
Unless it's reality TV, because I can't watch that anymore.
I'm trying to watch reality TV. Like,
Just a side note, like I worked in
like-
reality TV for like 2 years. It's real, but it's fake. Like that's it.
oh yeah,
That's the story. Like I just see
It's-
all the tricks every time I watch it. Moving on, I guess.
oh yeah. So apparently, Sword has been a thing since like 1995. Like what?
Yeah. Where have you been this whole time?
Where have you been at, Sword? Like what the
And
hell?
it's what I'm now memorizing it because I'm me. It says Sentient Weapon Observation and Research Division. Is that it?
I think you're right. I think that's it. I believe I'm guessing too right now. I think it's the Sentient Weapons Observation Response Division.
Observation and response, not research. You're right.
I think
Sentient. No, because it's not Sentient Worlds Observation. It's Sentient Weapons.
See, they're gonna change it. By the end of the show, I'm calling right now. They're gonna change it to World. They're not gonna. They're gonna. That Monica's probably gonna change it to World.
Oh, I hope so. Because, I mean, when they walk in, she's like, I work here. And they're like, your badge doesn't work. And all the new guy comes. His name is Tyler Hayward. We haven't
It's giving
heard.
me bad vibes.
Yeah,
that guy.
like, what? Who are you? And they're like, you're the only choice. Like,
Yeah.
but they walk through and they have the weapons. And they're like, the sentient weapons. And she's like, there's also observation and response on that door, too. So
Yeah.
he is focused more on weapons. So we'll see how that turns out.
I know. I know. When I was like, when we get introduced to him, to Raymond, I think like with him again. I mean, I know he gives like a very kind and like, likable feel to him, but at the same time, I'm just like, no, something's definitely up with you.
Yeah,
Like you're definitely giving me
agree.
some weird vibes. I keep on saying vibes. Well, but I think he definitely presents. Like I know that Monica has this history with him, and like definitely her mother had history with him as well. I just think like okay, like he's more involved in this story than we think. I mean, like it always happens in a lot of these shows and movies where like you definitely see this guy's like, oh, this person is harmless. This character, is too kind or like just too helpful. Like there's no way they could be like a huge villain. And surprise, they end up being like the
Yeah.
big bad of the show.
I'm always skeptical of everyone at this point, like, because of that.
Oh, definitely. But yeah, I just like I'm glad that we got to see Sword and like sort of I don't know if it's in Louisiana or Florida, but I think, I'm glad that we sort of finally get to see that other, I think, subsection of Shield, or maybe it's separate from Shield. I don't know, but I'm glad that we're getting to see it and sort of how they operate. Now let's sort of forward to another part of the episode. I love sort of the interaction that we see when Monica has to go up to Jersey for this missing persons case, where she's like, "Why am I doing this? Like, come on, I'm much better than this." And I love how her interactions with Jimmy Woo.
Yep.
I think I love their interactions together, and also I loved just seeing him again. I loved him in I think it was Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, that's
I thought he was great.
Yeah, I feel the same way. They're bringing the side characters in, almost like a Legends of Tomorrow type thing, where all the side characters are coming together to do something.
Oh, I wish I watched that show.
It's okay. It's a good show.
Yeah, it's probably. I heard it's a great show. And people who work on that show, I know some people work on that show, and they say they love it. Like
wow,
it's such a
That's
editing
so cool.
it. It's like so cool.
We have to talk about that later.
We do. But continuing on, I love their interactions together. But then all of a sudden, you notice, okay, something's definitely like Stephen King about this town. Like there's some. It's
Stephen King Under the Dome.
Yes, exactly. It's like that show and book. I think it was it like the early it was 2010, 2011. There was that show Under the Dome.
Yeah, I wrote a horror paper on that show in school.
Oh.
Because it was like one horror show that I actually watched, but it really wasn't horror. It was just Stephen King. It wasn't scary.
Jen,
yeah,
you might actually know more about what's going to happen on the show, because maybe, even though, I mean, I think the comic, they're definitely referencing like House of M for the show, for WandaVision, but I think they're also sort of referencing Under the Dome with like Stephen King for the show as well in some ways, right?
I mean,
think about it.
I get it. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, when I watched it, I felt like no one else watched it and no one else liked it or appreciated it. But maybe that was just me in my head and not having friends who watched it at the time.
Don't worry, Jen. I watched a little bit of it. I'm here for you.
I watched that show to the end. There were aliens. It was like really weird at the end, but I really did enjoy that show. It is what we're kind of kind of figuring out through this is it doesn't necessarily seem like it's an alternate reality. It seems like this existence is under a dome. Like
that's what I'm getting to.
It's not like they're plugged into a machine, like in the framework, like in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's living out in this whatever world and contraption dome thing.
Yeah.
Over Westview, which does or doesn't exist. Like that really wasn't answered. Like did Wanda just create this, or whoever just create this town in the middle of New Jersey, or did they take over a town? It sounds like they took it over.
What I'm guessing right now is that it was a town, because I think there were people missing from the town. So like the missing persons case,
and the whatever the what is it called? The witness protection program. Who was that witness? Like I want to that's gonna be. I think that's gonna be a big thing. Like whoever this witness thing is, if someone's accompanying Wanda in doing this, I think it's that witness. Mm-hmm. Whoever that villain is, like whoever that who knows if that was a bad person who got off? Like who knows? Like
I'm guessing it's probably gonna be Agnes. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be Catherine Hahn.
I think you were right. Oh my gosh,
it's definitely going to be Catherine Hahn. Oh no, Catherine Hahn is. Oh my god, I love Catherine Hahn so much too. I'm
this is
so
why
glad
we have this podcast.
She's getting her fame, but like honestly, because she's definitely been like. I think they don't really know who she is. But again, it's weird because like, wouldn't Jimmy know who the witness would be? Right? He would know like who who she is. So like,
yeah, and if they had powers or anything.
Yeah. So I'm guessing. So with this town, so Wanda's controlling this town. People who have any relation to anyone in the town can't remember them, right? Mm-hmm, yep. And anyone, and pretty much it's a town that's like sort of giving off the spell, like, hey, don't come in, like stay out. Like Jimmy was just like, okay, yeah, didn't you feel it too? Like when he was talking to Monica, like
Yeah,
it
that
just
was
doesn't want you to come in.
interesting.
But like
That was
Monica was
very
like,
horror like. Like
yeah,
I feel a vibe.
yeah,
One
but
side
like,
thing though,
yeah,
real quick, about just referring to no one remembers anything, the Hydra soap.
oh, Jen Bod, yes, oh yeah,
I was like, I was like, no one remembers like the Hydra soap. This is how she's controlling them.
probably, yeah. I think it's something to do with maybe soap or hydras, or definitely some type of
I don't
fluid,
know,
maybe.
just a little
Like, oh,
thought
that's a great
connecting
theory.
some dots.
Yeah, I think it has something to do with that, and I think she's definitely like. I feel like once you go inside the dome, or like her reality, you everything from your clothes to your personality to your like your mindset fits her reality.
Yes.
So like, yes. So okay. So when we go further into the, we'll go further into the episode, but okay. So Monica gets thrusted into Wanda's reality, right? And we pretty much 24 hours later, people are, there's a huge setup from Sword. People are there mainly now to find Monica. We thought Sword was controlling this reality. Now it's just to find Monica, and they're trying to figure out, okay, like what's up with like all these missing people inside this dome. But then, just one quick thing I'll bring up is that the beekeeper. Remember the beekeeper
Yes,
from
I
the
remember the
site?
beekeeper. I thought he went through a beehive to get there. No, it was
No, he
because
did not.
he went under and like his hazmat suit turned into a bee like suit because that's what they had in the 1950s. Like that's what happened.
Definitely. And so yeah, so he went through a hazmat suit again, like since he went through Wanda's reality through that tunnel, I mean to the sewers, like his whole, I think everything from him, changed. So he's just probably walking out of this, he's just going from the sewers, comes up, to the, the street, and he's probably like, where am I? What's going on? And then Wanda's just like, nope, I'm not having it. Like, I want you out of here. Like, you gotta go.
Yeah.
He's like, and she didn't even say that, but she's just like, no, like,
Yeah.
no, like, you're not part of my life. Like, get out. So where did he go? Like, I have no. Did he die?
Yeah, right? Who knows? I don't think he probably didn't die, but he may have like made it out in the town somewhere as like kind of like what happened with Monica. I don't know exactly. But
I guess, yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
I think we'll figure. Maybe they'll show.
Yeah,
like,
I think
in
they
the
will.
next
I think
episode.
there's so many little things that will get resolved, like throughout, like that witness protection program thing. Something I feel like we kind of skipped over was
Yes.
Darcy. Love
I know
that
yeah,
she's around,
yeah.
and how
That's why I said
yeah. Go for it.
Yeah, but yeah, don't you- yeah, I didn't forget about her. I love Kat Denning so much. Like, you have no idea. I am not gonna forget Darcy because she's my favorite character of the show right now.
Yeah, same.
Even though like I'm loving her, and also I just love right now. I love how Darcy is now like a fully realized like astrophysicist. She's a
yes.
doctor. She's in that truck with all those other scientists, and like this, the guy who's the chemical engineer is just like, we're not supposed to talk to each other, and she's like, okay, like boys got leader, like whatever,
Yep.
like, like I love her personality. I love how she comes out, and she is just cracking jokes to this sword agent, and then of course within like a minute she's just sort of able to find out what's going on. Like, don't get me wrong, I loved Darcy before in the Thor movies, but I'm just so glad at where they put her character now, development wise. Like, I'm glad she knows more about astrophysics. Astrophysics. I'm not, a science guy, so this is probably very embarrassing. But I love what they did with her character, and I love how she probably learned a lot from, Jane, from, Natalie Portman's character. So I'm glad that she's sort of the first one in this whole, I think, operation to sort of start putting the pieces of the puzzle together.
Yeah.
I'm glad
same.
that she's the one, coming through. But yeah, anyways, do you have any thoughts about Darcy as well?
I mean, I always have a soft spot for the comedic science nerds. That's just kind of my thing. I mean, Fitzsimmons. So I love her so much. But I kind of really am interested to talk about what she finds in that. So this dome is broadcasting a signal, and like it just raises more questions that I kind of wasn't really thinking about beforehand. Like, I knew they were in a sitcom and I knew that this was all happening, but like, they're broadcasting this. Like, why a sitcom? Why is this happening? I know it's more than Disney Plus is having TV shows. Like, why? It just feels like I have so many questions that I don't even know where to even go. Like, why?
Jen, it's weird. It's funny how with this episode, we're everyone outside the dome. And pretty much it's funny because they're asking the same questions we are. But, like, it's weird. It's also weird that, like, we've already asked these questions and we're just like, okay, catch up, people.
Yeah.
Catch up, Jimmy Boo. Like, we know, like, what's up with the hexagonal shape. Like, we've asked that, like, 2 episodes ago. Like, keep up. I did some weird fanboy nerd research, and so this whole thing, so you're right, there's this broadcast frequency superimposed with the comic microwave background radiation, which is, like they say, is what is assumed to be left over after the creation of the Big Bang, right?
Yep, that's what.
So I'm guessing my theory right now for that is that this new reality inside this town was created by Wanda in some way, because she, I think, has that type of radiation from the Mind Stone, which gave her powers, right?
Like, I mean, we know it's Wanda now at this point, especially at the end where Monica goes, it's all Wanda, or whatever she says about Wanda.
Yeah. So, as sort of we continue on with the episode, I think what we should probably talk about is, okay, so Jimmy and Wanda, so they now know it's a reality, but Jimmy and Darcy try to contact Wanda, right, through the radio, like you mentioned before.
Yes, I wanted to talk about that a lot.
Yes. So
yeah, go for it.
What do you think we sort of learn about this? I mean, I think we see, Darcy and Jimmy sort of testing this out, and they definitely do sort of get a reaction from Wanda, but immediately after, they try to radio contact her, like, it just quickly jumps to another scene.
Yeah.
And it's weird because Darcy says, like, nothing happened, but something clearly did happen. So what's up with that?
I mean, my thoughts are, like, Wanda is obviously, like, editing this. Like, right? Like, that's exactly what I wanted to talk about when this was brought up. Is, like, she had a weird blip. Like, we know it worked, but, like, they don't know it worked at the same time. But that's just something they're going to have to figure out that we kind of understand already.
Jen, if you think about it, Wanda's being you. She's a video editor.
Yeah, well, she's reality. Part of, like, she's doing everything, or as much as we can tell, she's doing the whole thing. But, I mean, I still go back, I'm just going to, like, why, like, the broadcast, like, why, like, there's got to be a reason that this is, because, like, she doesn't need to broadcast this, does she? Like, that's what
You're right. Like, why does she need to broadcast this to everyone? Or why is she, or is it just, like, for her own enjoyment of just, like, trying to create a sitcom of her life and try to have everything, like, placed together the way, or direct everything the way that she wants it to be, just for her pure enjoyment? But I think in some way, maybe in my theory, maybe it's a bargain. Maybe it's a deal that she's made with the devil.
Yeah, that was the first time we're bringing that up, but that's a lot of people are speculating that that's what's to come.
Yeah. So yeah, there are a lot of, people, a lot of Marvel fans speculating that the main villain of the show is Mephisto, which is sort of the Marvel Comics version of the devil, right, Jen?
Yes,
I think
that's exactly it. With the hexagons, that's 6 sides, right? And all that.
right now I'm sort of guessing that this is a not only control this reality. I not only think this reality is being controlled by Wanda, but I also think it's being controlled by Agnes in some way.
Yes.
Maybe by Dottie as well. I feel like both Dottie and Agnes are sort of witches in some way, and just sort of coercing Wanda to sort of continue on in this reality. But I think there's a third person pulling the strings, and that's Mephisto. And maybe the deal that he made with Wanda was just like, okay, like I'm gonna bring Vision back for you. I'm gonna let you have your boyfriend slash husband back, but you have to make this deal. Like you have to. The only way you can have this life is if it sorry, I'm getting tongue tied because my mouth is so dry. But I feel like the only way that you can have this life is pretty much is if it's in sitcom form. Like he wants to make sure this. What if like Mephisto is the one that's censoring the broadcast? He's the one that like is making sure like
what if
okay,
he's
what
the
can be shown?
editor, not Wanda?
Yeah, maybe he is.
Ooh, new ideas. You want to move on to the last bit of this episode, I would say?
Sure.
About what we see with Vision being kind of, we got a little traumatized by witnessing Vision at his state of endgame.
Oh God, that was, whew. Jen, and I'll bring this like one just tiny pop culture reference. I don't think, I mean, if you don't know it, like that's totally understandable. But do you know Cardi B by any chance?
I know who she is.
Good. No, I'm glad that you do. When I saw, Dead Vision for like a quick sec, before like Wanda turned away, I was just like, I was thinking of that one moment from that one Cardi B video where she goes like, "Oh my God, what is that?" He's like, "You ever seen that one?"
No,
where
I haven't,
Cardi B
but I
just
could like picture it happening.
So that I just had that sound of that video in my mind when I saw Dead Vision, and you just see Dead Vision with the middle of his head just destroyed, and it made you wonder, like, Wanda, did you literally reanimate your dead boyfriend?
Yeah, it's
for
like
your own reality.
It's like there's a film over the reality. Like that's all I can think of. The way to say it, like something's covering it, like a filter, and the filter was taken off for a second, and you could see what was really going on, and it was kind of like not cool. It was like gross, like, oh no.
Now when we get back to sort of the filtered WandaVision vision of Vision, oh my God, that's a lot of visions, too many visions, sorry. But when we get this altered version of Vision back, and he says like, we can go anywhere we want, and then Wanda's just like, no, we can't. So you realize, okay, like Vision has to be here for him to be alive, I guess, for Wanda. And Wanda thinks she has everything under control. And honestly, oh God, I mean, I know this is like WandaVision's show, but I am like rooting against Wanda right now. And I know I'm probably getting a lot of hate from that.
Rooting against her? Like,
I'm not like completely rooting against her. Like, I definitely still feel for her. I definitely still like wish her the best, and I want her to be, fine. I want her to, sort of, find some peace and like happiness just away from this filtered life, filtered reality. But I'm just sort of mad, like, Wanda,
I agree.
like,
I feel the same way. Like,
why are you doing, like, you're putting these innocent people probably around Westview who were just like normal, like probably great people before. You're forcing them to live this life with you, this reality, and you're forcing your dead robot boyfriend, I'll say sorry, husband, to live this life with you when you know it's not real, just for your own enjoyment, to have some happiness when you already. I mean, I get it. Like the Avengers just banded. You don't have Tony. You don't have Captain
Yeah,
America.
it's
But
not
I feel
going
like
good for
you still have Hawkeye.
Wanda.
Like she
You
still has
still got
Hawkeye. Like
Hawkeye.
come on.
You still got
But
Falcon.
yeah, I know. But I think I am just sort of puzzled with Wanda, because right now I am Team Monica, I am Team Darcy, I am Team
Yeah,
Jimmy.
same. And I think that's what we're
I
supposed to be at this point. I think we're supposed to be questioning Wanda's intentions, and
of course.
I mean, there was a lot of speculation that this was coming, and I'm excited to see like evil Wanda. Like I kind of
Same.
want her to like, come on, Wanda, let's see it. Like I want to see where this goes. You know, like
Let Wanda go to the dark side.
yeah,
You know, we want
like
to.
I
Yeah.
never am like that, and I loved Wanda. Like I loved her character, but I don't know. I'm just excited to see where the show goes and where the MCU goes from here.
Same. I'm glad that you see the character who was, sort of she was sort of a tiny villain in Age of Ultron, but then she sort of redeemed herself. But now she's sort of back in this. She's getting back into this villainous sort of title, this villainous role.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to see where that goes, because I love to see characters that sometimes fall from grace. The same thing I think happened if you've ever seen the movie The Dark Knight, another superhero movie. But with Harvey Dent, if you've ever seen that movie, he pretty much like you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain, and that's entirely what's happening with Wanda. She everyone who's died a hero has been like Captain America, and I don't know if he's dead. I mean, I'm not sure. He's just maybe old Cap still, but
No, he went back to the 50s. Oh no, but he's old. So yeah, he's old. He's just old.
He'll maybe die soon. Unfortunately, that's pretty grim. But anyway, Tony's dead. Like,
oh my gosh, this is depressing.
Black Widow's
me.
dead. But I know. But I'm just saying that like
Everyone's
sometimes
dead.
with that weight that Wanda maybe she's feeling with them, but also with her brother and Vision, it just like sort of took her down the villainous path. I'm excited to see where the next episode goes. Monica's out of the bubble. She's like, it's all Wanda, so it's great to see.
Yeah.
It's going to be great to see her perspective of being inside the bubble and like what she can provide, what information she can provide to both Darcy and Jimmy. But yeah, I'm excited to see. And I think next episode we're going into the 80s, right? I think
so.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, because we were still in the 70s last week. So we're probably going to get a little bit in the dome and out of the dome now, I would assume.
That's what I'm wanting. Yeah, that's what I want right now.
That's what I'm hoping. I think, like, you even predicted that this week we were going to finally know what was going on outside, and we got an entire episode of what was going on outside. But it, like, didn't really answer many questions. It just brought up more questions.
Yeah, I feel like
Marvel, you're so good at this. Come on.
I think it definitely answered some questions. Definitely, I mean, it definitely answered like if Sword was doing this or not, and then it answered like they're not doing it. But it definitely, you're right. It definitely brought up a lot of questions of what's going on.
Excited for next week.
I'm very excited for next week. Also, Jen, I mean, if you haven't, I'll just leave this here. I know it's pretty random, but I love Kat Dennings so much. I love 40-Year-Old Virgin. I love Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. I love sort of the movie she's been in. But like, if you have a chance, please watch Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. I think it's a great movie, and maybe like we'll review it later down this podcast. But to all the podcast people down there, I'm just gonna do a little quick random thing. Please watch that movie, because Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist is such a great, I think, high school New York City movie. Okay, I'll end it there.
It's all good. Yeah, I haven't seen it. We'll definitely have to come back to it. But yeah, thank you everyone for listening. Let us know what you thought of the episode in the comments. If reach out to us on Twitter. We are we're kind of active there. But yeah, thanks for listening.
Yeah. Oh wait, Jen, should we quickly name drop our Twitter again?
Yeah, sure.
Let me just say this. We're at DuggBott for Twitter. That is our Twitter handle. It's at DuggBott. And for our Insta
I'm pretty sure it's the same. I think it's just DuggBott as
We
well.
we are the same. Yep.
We'll put it in the
DuggBott, yep.
description down below or the show notes or wherever you listen. So we are on officially Spotify, Anchor, YouTube. Check us out on YouTube. Just look up DuggBott Podcast on YouTube and we'll come up. We're working on Apple Music. So
Yes,
Google
we're
Podcasts,
close.
we're there too. So we're getting there.
Yeah, it's definitely taking time with Apple Podcasts, but we'll get there.
We'll get there. All right, let's wrap it up. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Thank you guys. Bye. Thank you for listening.